Now we're going to turn to the race for the White House. Voters across Michigan hitting the polls across the state, setting the stage for this fall's general election.
Today is Michigan's August primary with several key contests on the ballot. The outcomes will determine which Republican and Democrat candidates will compete in November for control of Congress and the Michigan state legislature.
It definitely felt like I'm more of an adult now because, I voted. That's an adult thing.
There's only one vote for each of us. If we don't vote, we can't complain about who we elect.
So true. Today's primary comes as Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris announced Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate.
Tomorrow, the presidential race runs through battleground Michigan, and Harris and Walz are set to hold a rally in Romulus at 7 p.m.
Meantime, Donald Trump's running mate will be in Metro Detroit tomorrow. J.D. Vance will meet privately with police officers and other local officials in Shelby Township.
Tonight, we've got Team 7 coverage of the races that could shake up the balance of power in Washington and reshape Michigan's political future, starting with the highly coveted U.S. Senate seat being vacated by Senator Debbie Stabenow.
I'm Brett Castenham-Tremick, where actor and now U.S. Senate candidate Hill Harper came to meet with voters. He's facing a very tough primary today against current U.S. Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin, both vying for that soon-to-be open Senate seat after the retirement of U.S. Senator Debbie Stabenow. Now, this race here in Michigan is being watched closely across the country because right now Democrats hold a very thin majority in the U.S. Senate, and this race is key to the balance in Washington. Now, Slotkin has been viewed as the favorite here in this Democratic primary race, and I'll be in Detroit tonight where both candidates are holding watch parties, hoping at the end of the day they will come out on top. In Hamtramck, I'm Brett Cast, 7 News, Detroit.
I'm Rodolphe Sinita in Lake Orion, covering the Republican side of things here in Michigan for the open U.S. Senate seat left vacant by Debbie Stabenow. Mike Rogers having an event here tonight. There are 3 candidates you need to be aware of. Rogers, as we mentioned, one of them, Justin Amash, a former Michigan state representative working alongside Rogers, and the only woman in the race, Dr. Sherry O'Donnell, a physician and ordained minister. Now, Rogers, he's the real front runner. He has been endorsed now by Trump. They were side by side at a rally in Grand Rapids. I'm Rodolphe Sinita, 7 News, Detroit.
I'm Darren Cunningham in downtown Rochester, covering the 10th Congressional District race. That district covers parts of Oakland and Macomb counties. Now, in the U.S. House of Representatives, Republicans have a small majority over Democrats. These are the 4 Democratic candidates in this race looking to change that. They're hoping for a win tonight and a chance to go up against the incumbent, Republican Congressman John James, who is running in his primary unopposed. Now, here in Rochester, Democratic candidate Emily Bush will be holding her watch party. Her opponents include former Macomb County prosecutor Carl Marlinga, who lost to John James in the general election 2 years ago. Also on the ballot, Michigan State Board of Education member Tiffany Tilley and Diane Young of Warren. In Rochester, Darren Cunningham, 7 News, Detroit.
I'm Whitney Burney in Detroit, where we are covering the 13th District congressional race. This evening, Democratic freshman Representative Tree Tanadar is facing a few challengers as he looks to secure a second term. One of those challengers is Republican Martell Bivens, who is running in this primary unopposed. On the Democratic side, Detroit Councilwoman Mary Waters is also running against Tanadar, and so is Detroit native Shakira Hawkins, who is an attorney. The 2 candidates selected by voters will face off in November, representing Detroit, Highland Park, and the Grosse Pointe communities. On the east side, I'm Whitney Burney for 7 News Detroit.
A lot of races to watch. Thank you much, Whitney. Be sure to stay with 7 News Detroit for continuing coverage of the Michigan State primary. We put together a complete primary election guide at WXYZ.com. You can read up on the biggest races, find your polling location, and see a sample ballot from your community.